What's up, beautiful people? Reporting live from the beautiful city of Lagos. This is Momo Bespoke, and I'm sorry that I've been away for a long time, but we are back. Today I've got Oxfords and loafers to make, but that's not what I want to show you. I want to show you how to make everlasting soles. But first of all, we're going to make the shoe. So this video is in two parts. The first part is just a breeze through of the processes involved in recreating turning the pattern of my pair of loafers into an actual loafers shoe. So I'll just pick quite a number of the processes involved and show you guys how all of those came about, and then we'll go into the process of fabricating very, very durable soles using rubber, pre-made rubber soles. In the next couple of videos, I would also show you how to make custom soles out of leather. So let's start. The first, of course, having clicked your leather uppers, you're going to have to skive it. You could of course do this with the aid of a skiving machine, or you could do it the way I prefer to do it, which is by hand. Using granite block, you see that flat piece of granite block on the table and my sharp self-fabricated DIY skiving knives. I have videos on how to make your own DIY skiving knives. You could check out those videos and get yourself acquainted with the process of fabricating your skiving knives. So I'm done with the skiving. You skive all of your stitching allowances, your folding allowances, and all the parts that require to be skived. Then I'll go ahead and punch in the medallion for this shoe. I also have a video on how to design your medallion, but most of what you need in medallion is to paste to the taste of the designer. And this is what I came up with. Simple medallion, nothing too fancy. This will work. Having done that, we'll add our brogue holes and then couple everything in together. So we add the vamp to the back part of the uppers, attach the linings, and that brings us to the end of the first part of this video. By this time it was late at night and I had to get myself some sleep. Wake up the next morning and we get back to what we really want to do in this video, which is to show you the processes involved in fabricating durable soles out of pre-made rubber soles. First of all, you get the lining of the cup of your rubber sole, the pattern of the cup of your rubber sole, and use that to construct your insole. So the process starts really with construction of your insole. Now you see that I'm using this fiber board that most shoemakers will call sacrilege to use this type of fiber board, but I'll show you why I'm doing that. It's almost a 1 mm thick rubber fiber, but I'm going to pad that up with the regular fiber board, this type of fiber board that at the rear, at the back. I'm going to pad that up, and then in front I'm going to attach leather. Now the reason why I'm not using the straight white hard fiber that you're typically used to is because of how I want to stitch the sole, right? And I want to be able to fabricate my insoles in such a way that having stitched my sole, I won't have problems with adding my sock liner. I'll show you all of that as we proceed, so endeavor to stick around to the end of the video. Now let's do a weight comparison between this, my fiber board, which this my insole, which I constructed with leather, the flimsy fiber, and your regular fiber. Let's do a weight comparison and see how much it weighs as compared to the regular one that you construct with just hard fiber. So the hard fiber one, you see, weighs about 38.2 grams. And my own construction weighs 43.8. So just, I think, about 6 gram difference. But when you factor in that mine is way bigger in size than this one, you could minus about 3 grams. So I only gained about 3 grams in weight, which to me isn't significant in any real respect. So let's go ahead and last up the shoe. You know the process of lasting. You put nails or staples at the 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock positions, then staples at the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock positions. Next staple will be at the 6 o'clock position. So you pull that down to the back height and you put your staples at the rear. Pack that there. Then at the 4 o'clock, using a larger pair of lasting pliers, pull at the 4 o'clock position and at the 8 o'clock positions. And with that, my 8 cardinal nails are complete. I'll just go ahead and fine tune this very quickly. This is not a lasting video, but I just thought it's important to, refresh your memory with the process involved in hand lasting. Then we'll remove all of the nails and fine tune things back in place. Have all of that fine tuned. Then all of the nails at the front part goes away, and then we can pull and tug at the lining and have the rest of the lining flush on the last. If you have not already done that, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share with your friends as well. So the last thing of our lining is done. We'll just secure that in place with contact cement, which is of course I have done right now. I just want to show you the process of lasting up the tip of your last. The trick with doing this, I have people who have asked me some questions about how this is done, is by taking small pleats after small pleats. So you pull at the edge and then just pleat it in small pleats. When you're done, you can use the claw of your hammer to hammer it in. I've seen some shoemakers who buy claw hammers, those hammers that have claw. That's not a shoemaker, a hammer that any shoemaker should acquire. That's for carpenters. Let's leave that aside. Now let's go to the insole, the sole preparation. You of course have to rough up particularly these edges of your rubber soles. Now you could do that using this Dremel tool. However, the one that I have, this Dremel tool that I have, the torque of the Dremel tool is not very strong. This is actually the type that people who do manicure use. This of course will work very well when I'm making things like wallets and small leather projects, but for the purpose of roughening up hard rubber, it proved to be very an inefficient way. Of course it will get the job done, but it will take me so much time, which is why I fabricated this out of a damaged padlock, and of course I attached the rough sandpaper to it using super glue and baking soda. Now super glue and baking soda will give you a strong bond on any surface, whether concrete, wood, leather. Super glue with baking soda, some of the toughest bonds you've ever come across. So with that, I had this secured, and I kind of like how this came out, really, because of the curve around that padlock steel. It gets to very specific areas in the cup of this sole that I ordinarily wouldn't have gotten to using a bench grinder otherwise. So this gets to it easily, and I noticed that by the time I was done, my hand wasn't really feeling much stress. So this really got the job done very well and efficiently. So I roughened that up very well, and having done that, it's also time to roughen up the underside of my shoe. Of course, that will be done using this roughening tool that I just fabricated. If you take a close look, you'll see that I have marked out the parts beyond the feather edge where I shouldn't, where my roughening shouldn't go beyond. Always important to take note of that. So that's all done, and you can see also that I have filled the void created underneath the last there by attaching some leather. Some people will use cork or EVA. I use leather in this case. Then I have also applied some contact cement to the under of the sole, the first coat of contact cement. Now I'm going to smear the under of my shoe with contact cement. You don't have to go overboard with this. Just put a light coat underneath the shoe. Of course, this is done after you have roughed up the bottom of your shoe. Being, of course, careful not to overshoot the feather edge as you had marked out earlier on. So one coat goes underneath the shoe. Just liberally add the contact cement to it. Then I will add a second coat on the sole itself. This is just the way that I do it. So a second coat on the sole. Let's quickly get through with that. And then we'll leave this to rest for at least 15 minutes. In my case, I left it for 20 minutes, within which time I had myself some workshop breakfast. Eggs, bread, and tea. A lot of you are all up in my face about how unhealthy coffee is. I dare any one of you to provide me with any proven research that says coffee is bad, absolutely bad for your health. But just to, assuage you guys, I had tea in this case. So I had my breakfast, tea, toast, and some egg, and also gave some eggs to my kitten. By the time I was done, my sole and my shoe were perfectly dry, tacky to the touch, and now I can assemble them together in ultimate preparation for finishing. Assemble that together. Before I will hammer this down, but I have come to a realization that using my hand and the wooden part of my hammer to just, roll on the sole gives me better results. Then I would also use rubber tube from old bicycle tube. The rubber you get from old bicycle tube to, bind it together like a mummy. So bind that together and secure the sole in place. Now, someone will ask, will this be enough to hold the sole in place? I would say yes, in many cases. However, I do not leave it at this. I go the extra step of stitching the sole to the shoe. And that's the next part that I am going to. So you leave this in place for like 10 minutes. Just leave it in place. Ensure that all of the edge is making contact with the shoe. Then after like 10 minutes, I'll pull out the last from the shoe. And we will, the next step would now be to sew the hard rubber to the rest of the upper. I'll show you that in a minute. So like I said, what we're trying to do is durable soles, which means we're not going to be relying solely on the glue, on the contact cement to hold the sole. We're going to cut a channel. As you can see, the channel around the heel area, I am cutting directly underneath the heel area. So we're going to cut channels. Of course, the rest of the sole already has that groove running along. I'm just going to add these ones where the manufacturers didn't add any grooves. And then using my hook awl, I'm going to stitch. You can see that this hook awl is specially designed to ensure that when I stitch this sole, I don't have to bend or contour the new shoes, because it's long enough to come out towards the opening of the shoe, and I'm able to reach my thread and do my, what's it called, lock stitch easily without having to bend or fold the shoes over. So you can see that that is how the stitching was done. These were actually very largely spaced stitches, but I can assure you that it will be enough to hold the shoe and the sole in place for a very long time. Once we're done with our stitching, we put the shoes back, we put the last back into the shoes, do some polishing, some finishing, and that will be it basically, ladies and gentlemen. This is the point where I want to stop this video. I hope you learned something. If you did, share with your friends, put a comment in the comment section, and like I said, in the coming videos we'll be constructing custom soles using leather, so stay tuned for that. Till I see you next time, God bless you and have a wonderful time. Peace.